Pastor Smoky Nasal is a singer-songwriter who is known for his honest lyrics and powerful singing. His rise from Little Rock, Arkansas to the top of the gospel music business shows how strong his faith is and how much he loves what he does as a musician. His music has touched the lives of millions of people and inspired a huge number of others. He was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, January 3rd, 1975. He grew up in a loving Christian home that helped him on his spiritual path from a very young age. He was immersed in the rich traditions of gospel music. As a child, the soulful sounds of the church and the strong words they carried shaped him. Norfolk liked music a lot and often sang in church choirs and at neighborhood music events. He then went to college and earned a degree in psychology from the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. But his education didn't end there. He continued to learn more about how people think and act by earning a master's degree in therapy, which not only taught him things but also helped him write better songs that showed deep insights into the human experience. To get a master's degree in counseling, you have to go through a lot of training in different types of therapy, counseling methods, and ethical issues. You learn how to look at and deal with mental health problems, which gives you the tools you need to help other people deal with them. Norfolk had problems with depression, anxiety, trauma, and relationships. Going to college would have helped him connect with people on a deeper level, which would have led to more trust and understanding. It's possible that the UAPB counseling program stressed how important it is to understand others. You have skills that are very useful in both music and service, Norful's training. It wasn't until the early 1980s that Smokie Norful became a major player in gospel music. His first album, I Need You Now, came out in 2002 and made him a top artist in modern gospel. People who were important in the gospel music industry helped make Fall's first record, which came out on Epic Records on July 23, 2002. At that time, music was changing and gospel acts were starting to use more modern styles while still keeping the deep messages that are at the heart of gospel music. Norfolk's work fit right in with this trend because it mixed traditional religion with more modern styles. The songs on the album were about hope, desperation, and many other things, as well as putting faith in God. The album had both sad and happy songs, all held together by Nal's unique voice. People connected with the album's honest emotional content, making it a soundtrack for those looking for comfort and guidance during hard times. Many reviewers gave it high marks. The song I Need You Now by Norfolk got great reviews for its lyrics, production, and singing. It became a cultural anthem that showed how vulnerable people are and how much they want God to help them. The lyrics are very honest about the problems people are having, expressing desperation and the need for help. Many people want help in lines like I need you now, I need you. The music in I Need You Now is a mix of traditional church sounds and modern rhythms, which makes for a sound that many people like. The song's strong choir sings harmony with Norfolk's soulful vocals, making it an uplifting and moving experience for viewers. The track was a hit in gospel groups and worship services all over the country because of how catchy it was. Melody's I Need You Now had an impact that went beyond the music charts. It became a source of comfort and hope for many people who were going through hard times. The song's message hit home for people and groups going through hard times like economic downturns, health problems, and the chaos and emotions that came with them. It reminded me how important faith is and how powerful it is to turn to God when you need help. When I Need You Now came out, it got great reviews from both critics and fans. The record also won a number of awards, including Stellar Awards, which are given to the best in gospel music. Norfolk's strong performance made him known as one of the most important sounds in modern gospel, which set him up for a long and successful career. After the album did well, he was asked to perform at more gospel music events and churches. His live performances not only showed off his singing skills, but also how he could connect with people through his sincere worship and delivery. It wasn't long before Smokie Norful was in high demand as an artist. He went on to share his message of hope and faith at festivals, church events, and music tours. After his first album, I Need You Now, came out in 2002 and got great reviews, he made a name for himself in the gospel music business with a string of popular albums. He kept making music, with albums like Life-Changing 2006, Nothing Without You 2004, The Gospel According to Smokie Norful 2008, and A Love Journey 2014. Smokie Norfolk's second album, Nothing Without You, built on the success of his first album. It showed how much he had grown as an artist and how he could connect with people through deeply personal and spiritually uplifting themes. The title track of Nothing Without You talks about how important it is to depend on God, which is a theme of the album. Nothing Without You continued to mix traditional gospel sounds with more modern ones, adding R&B and soul parts that made the music more appealing to a wider audience. The record was a hit with both fans and critics because it had lush arrangements, catchy melodies, and powerful vocal performances. Just a Prayer Away and My Heart Is Yours showed how well Norful could send emotional messages, which made the record even more popular. Because of how well Nothing Without You did, Norful won a lot of great awards, which made him an even more famous figure in gospel music. His ability to mix old and new styles made him popular with many people, which let him reach people of all ages. In 2006, after 2 years, Norful released an album called Life-Changing, which continued to talk about change and hope. The title track summed up the album's message by showing how faith in spiritual events can have a life-changing had a big impact on people's lives. The encouraging lyrics told them to accept change and trust in God's plan. The record had a mix of sad and happy songs with different musical styles coming together around a strong gospel bass. Norful's singing voice remained a highlight, marked by the emotional depth and technical accuracy of its work on songs like God Is Able and He's Done Enough show. He proved that he could inspire and uplift people through music, which made his reputation as a dynamic performer even stronger. The album's sound and topics, which were interesting and relatable, made it more popular, which led to a number of performances and appearances at important gospel events. Smokie Norful released an album in 2008 called The Gospel According to Smokie Norful. It told the story of his life as an artist and a preacher. The title Preacher made it clear that he wanted to use his songs to share the main ideas of the gospel. This record, which mixed original songs with new versions of old favorites, showed how versatile he is and how much he respects gospel traditions. I Will Bless the Lord, the album's best track, became a big hit, showing how good Norfolk is at writing songs that make people praise and worship. The production of the record included a lot of. As a background, the Norfolk music made the listening experience better overall. Smokie Norful said that the gospel got a lot of praise, which led to him getting more great awards and votes. This record made him even more determined to make music that inspires and lifts people up, solidifying his position as a major figure in the gospel genre. It was the start of a new part of his life. Love, faith, and redemption were the main ideas behind this project, which was based on Fall's own life and growth as an artist and preacher. The record had heartfelt ballads and worship songs that made people want to connect with God more deeply. The Best Is Yet to Come, the album's first hit, became a strong song of hope and expectation that resonates with people who are looking for spiritual support. Fall's music has always been able to make people feel strong emotions, and this record shows how dedicated he is to his craft. During his career, Smokie Norful has won many awards and been praised for his work in the gospel music industry. He has been recognized as a top singer by receiving awards for excellence in gospel music. Notably, Norful won a Grammy Award for Best Contemporary R&B Gospel Album for Nothing Without You. This is a big deal that shows how important his music is to a wider audience. By fusing old and new church sounds and making people feel like they are part of a group, Norful has made a lasting impact on the world of gospel music. In addition to being successful in the music business, Smokie Norful really wants to be a preacher. His background in music and his work in ministry go hand in hand, because they both let him spread messages of hope, love, and faith. Norfolk became a Smokie Norful was a pastoral leader when he realized that prayer could bring people together and help them heal. Victory Cathedral Worship Center is a successful congregation in the Chicago area that lives up to Norfolk's vision for a lively and welcoming church. The church has been a source of hope and inspiration for many since it opened in 2004 and brings people from all walks of life together. Norfolk leads the church and stresses the value of Victory Cathedral is different because it puts prayer at the center of the church experience. Northfield believes that worship should be an all-encompassing and life-changing event that lets people meet God in deep ways. Often prayer preaching and upbeat music at church services encourage people to grow in their faith and connection with God. The style of prayer at Victory Cathedral comes from Northfield's work as a gospel artist, making the space where faith and music meet lively. The church is also involved in social efforts and through different events and programs, helps the people in its area. Northfield thinks that the church's job is bigger than its walls and tells people to make a difference in their communities as well. This shows that the church is committed to making a difference. As a pastor and a musician, Smokie Norful's two jobs perfectly complement each other, giving him a unique perspective to bring to both his music and his ministry. Many of his songs are about prayer, faith, and community, and they hit home with both his congregation and people who just listen, inspiring them to talk about spiritual truths and lead worship in the church. Smokie Norful is known for both his powerful music and his ministry. Along with his music, Norful was known for his strong preaching and his ability to keep going when things got hard. One of the hardest things that happened to him was the death of his mother from cancer when he was in his late teens. This tragedy changed the way he thought about lost faith and trusting God, and it affected both his personal journey and his art. For Norful, losing a parent was the worst thing that could have happened to him. When he was in his late teens, Norfolk's mother died, leaving him with a deep emotional void and the truth of sadness at a young age. This loss changed the way he thought about sadness and its place in the human experience. Instead of letting his sadness take over, he turned to his faith for comfort and strength. This trust in God during his worst times set the stage for his future preaching, in which he would encourage people to find comfort in their faith when things go wrong. It's normal to feel many emotions during times of loss, such as sadness, anger, and confusion, said the teacher. But the way Norful dealt with his sadness taught him important lessons about being open and honest. It also helped him connect with other people who had been through similar things. You can hear how much Norfolk's music was affected by the death of his mother. Many of the songs are about loss, healing, and relying on God. The moving melodies and heartfelt lyrics are a part of his journey through grief and give people hope and support for those who are going through hard times. Through their own problems, Smokie Norful is known for having a powerful voice and writing songs that move people deeply, but he had to go through some tough times on his way to fame. At the start of his career, Norful had serious health problems that kept him from performing. These problems, especially with his vocal cords, caused him a lot of stress and anxiety. It became hard for Smokie Norful to perform because of problems with his voice cords. These problems showed up as voice strain, which made people worry about his ability to keep up the high standards that are expected of a professional singer. The strain on the body that comes with. These health problems got worse when Norful did things like sing, travel, and play for long hours. He had to face the very real possibility that he would never be able to sing again. Having problems with his health and worrying about it made things hard for Norful during this time. As an artist who had always put a lot of Norfolk fixed the problems with his voice cords because he knew it was important for his health. He went to the doctor and got a lot of different treatments, such as vocal training and rest. He learned how to take good care of his voice and how to keep it healthy. His search for answers not only helped him get better at singing, but it also taught him more about the physical and mental parts of being a performer. Smokie Norful overcame his health problems by sticking with it and not giving up. He was stronger and more resilient than ever after the event, which taught him important lessons about how fragile health is and how important it is to take care of it. Taking care of your body is important. Norful learned to value the gift that is his voice, knowing that it is both a skill and a duty that needs care and attention. He was grateful for the chance to share his gift, and it was clear when he went back on stage. His shows were not only a way for him to express himself artistically, but also a way for people to enjoy his work. His songs still moved people, reminding them that it is possible to get through hard times and do well. Smokie Norfolk's fame has opened up many doors for him and inspired many people. However, it has also made people pay more attention to him and put more pressure on him, which has a big impact on his personal life. Norfolk is always in the public eye because he is famous. People watch everything he does and say and make decisions based on what he does and says. This close attention can make him feel stressed and anxious as he tries to meet the standards that people have set for him. It can be too much for him to keep up a certain image or live up to the ideas that go along with his music, leaving him with little room for personal freedom or being himself. On top of keeping relationships strong, Smokie Norfolk has to deal with the high expectations of both the music business and his fans. The music business often has rules about how artists should perform, look, and act in public. As artists try to be true to themselves while also meeting the needs of their audience and people in the business, these expectations can make them feel conflicted. Smokie Norfolk's faith gives him strength when he is dealing with the stress of fame and personal problems. Being real is a core value that guides his life and work, and it helps him connect deeply with people who like his songs. Being well known in public hasn't been easy, especially when it comes to being closely watched. As a well-known person, Norful has been under a lot of pressure about his personal life and how his church is run, which has made it hard for him to balance his singing career with leading a church. These days, both fans and critics pay close attention to famous people, including Smokie Norfolk. Being both a preacher and a musician makes things even worse. His music has brought happiness and motivation to many, but it has also drawn a lot of attention to him. His words and actions are closely watched. Any artist knows how stressful it can be to keep up a perfect public image, but Norfolk's situation is especially tough because while preaching to his congregation, he is expected to live by the moral and ethical standards he sets for them. This could make his own experiences seem to go against each other. For Norfolk, his job as pastor at Victory Cathedral Worship Center in Chicago and his work in the music business have been two of the hardest things he has had to deal with. He spends a lot of time and energy on both, which can make it hard to balance the needs of his congregation with the needs of traveling to record and perform. Not only does Smokie Norful have a hard time balancing his job, but his personal life is also closely watched by the public. It can be stressful to keep your family healthy when everyone is looking at you can be hard. Smokie Norful has had to deal with the challenges of family relationships, kids, and personal relationships while making sure that his public image matches his private life. Even though people have paid close attention to Smokie Norful, he has shown amazing strength by staying true to his faith and his word. He is able to handle the stress of his two jobs thanks to his strong Christian beliefs. Norful gets strength from prayer, the people at his church, and his dedication to his. As he stays true to himself in both his songs and his ministry, Smokie Norful stresses how important it is to be honest and open. By talking about his problems and experiences, he shows that everyone has them. He is not just going through them, he is living them with the people he serves. Even though he has had many problems and difficulties in his life, Smokie Norful is still an example and source of hope for many. Through his songs and ministry, he connects with people who are going through similar problems and shares powerful messages of faith and strength. As long as people are in public life, especially ministry leaders like William McDowell, there will always be people who question their methods, beliefs, or decisions. For someone who is dedicated to spreading the message of faith and hope through worship, hearing criticism can be both discouraging and difficult. Being in the public eye can be especially hard for spiritual leaders, as their intentions and actions are often looked at very closely. As a pastor and worship leader, McDowell has had to deal with misunderstandings, false accusations, and negative opinions from both inside and outside the Christian community. People judge him not only for his music and sermons, but also for his personal choices and how he lives out his faith. Despite these problems, McDowell has stayed true to his mission to lead people in worship and share the message of God's love. His strength in the face of criticism shows how much he cares. As a spiritual leader, William McDowell was devoted to his job and believed that worship could change people's lives. He overcame adversity and stayed focused on his purpose, showing his followers that faith can be a source of strength in hard times. While the specifics of William McDowell's tragedies are not known to the public, it is likely that he, like many people in his position, has dealt with personal problems that have tested his faith. Problems like grief, disappointment, illness, and personal crises that they may choose to keep private. These tough times often play a big part in shaping their faith and making them more reliant on God. His songs have inspired many people, and he is dedicated to building a community of deep spiritual. The things that happened at Deeper Fellowship Church show that the leader has probably been through hard times with courage. And Grace McDowell's music, with its themes of surrender and faith, shows that the man has used his faith as both a compass and a source of strength to get through life's ups and downs. His journey, both the known and the unknown, shows how powerful worship can be, and how strong a life dedicated to God can be.